Frankenfish. Frankenfish is a 2004 American horror film. Filmed in Baldwin County, Alabama, a pack of enormous, bloodthirsty, genetically modified fish comb the still river waters of the Louisiana Bayou, searching for prey. Based on the Crofton, Maryland, snakehead incident in a pond, Frankenfish is one of 3 films based on the incident, the others being Snakehead Terror and Swarm of the Snakehead. Plot. The film opens with medical examiner Sam examining a body in the field. Then his boss arrives and tells him about an incident in the swamps, and that people are asking for a specialist to review the case. Sam tells him to send his assistant since the case doesn't warrant his direct involvement. However, his boss tells him the assistant isn't qualified and shows how inexperienced he is. Sam then tells him to send an expert, and his boss replies, "That's you." Fisherman John Crankton is killed by an unknown animal. The easy thing would have been to blame it on a crocodile, but this time the movie follows the other logic, that is, the standard logic is to think that there is no other predator capable of doing that, so by default the culprit is the crocodile, but the other logic was, this doesn't have the characteristics of a crocodile attack but we need help. The next day, medical examiner Sam Rivers and biologist Mary Callahan travel to the swamp to investigate John's mysterious death. Having grown up in the area, Sam is comfortable in his surroundings, while Mary is not. It's worth mentioning that Mary is very beautiful, and the outfit she wears in the first scene proves it. But don't think that her beauty makes her incapable of being a swindler and using tricks to her advantage, you'll see that later. They find Elmer searching for catfish in the swamp canals. And we get to see a demonstration of catfish fishing by hand, fascinating from my point of view. With Elmer, Sam and Mary travel upriver to the fishing community. They meet Gloria and Eliza Crankton, John's wife and daughter. Eliza's semi-boyfriend, Dan, also lives in the house. Gloria explains that a strange boat arrived upriver 3 months ago after a hurricane and strange things have been happening ever since. Here we can see how tense the atmosphere is in Gloria's house. It turns out Gloria doesn't like Dan and doesn't hide it, and apparently it's because he's white, given the comments we hear about him. Dan reacts to these comments and the tension grows. It's obvious that Dan and Eliza are going through a bad time. I don't know what Dan has done, but it's obvious that Eliza and he are having friction over Dan's behavior, and add Gloria's hostility to that, and it's not going well. Eliza went to get her mom to move, and Dan offered to help them. Eliza didn't want her to go, and you can see why. But Dan rented a boat to help with the move after his ex-father-in-law died. And I don't know if it's important, but Gloria practices voodoo. On the other hand, we can appreciate Eliza's beauty, truly beautiful. Sam and Mary find a large fishing boat on the bank of a canal. They explore the interior while Elmer waits outside in the boat. Sam clumsily begins activating buttons and levers on the boat, not knowing what each one does. They discover the remains of the crew in the hold. Upset and nauseous, Mary clumsily pulls Elmer from the boat, and something pulls him under. Sam and Mary flee in the boat, unaware that they have activated a homing signal on the boat. On the mainland, a team relays the information to their employer, Jeff, a wealthy bounty hunter. Mary and Sam arrive at Gloria's house and have dinner, or at least they try to. Gloria goes out of her way to take care of Sam and, like any careless family member, tries to embarrass Eliza by asking if Sam wasn't the boy she liked in high school. It turns out Sam was an athlete, while Eliza worked on the team and her panties kept falling off every time she saw. Elisa leaves and Mary follows her. The two girls take advantage of the opportunity to have some girl time and socialize. Mary asks why she's with that idiot. Eliza tells her he's her boss, and that's how their relationship began. Mary tells her to leave him, or at least hints at it, that there's more to life than bosses and that it doesn't necessarily have to be a man. And with a speech that, in my opinion, Mary leveraged feminism to get to Eliza, she tried to charm the beautiful Eliza. Yes, the beautiful Mary went into hunter mode, and Eliza was the easy prey who showed up all by herself. It was like fishing in a fishbowl. But Eliza looks at her and replies, "It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, they just want to get into your pants, suck on that lemon, Mary." Eliza gets up, and Mary can only cling to her beer bottle, trying to hide her failure. Later that night, Roland hears noises while on the roof of his houseboat. He leans. Bobby panics and tries to escape the houseboat in a small boat, but the fish, revealed to escape. Eliza arrives at Roland and Bobby's house to try to get them off the boat. The way she gets there seemed quite ingenious as well as daring. With a cable connecting her boat to that of the deceased couple, she hangs herself and slides to the neighboring boat, risking the big fish jumping out and eating her, since the height wasn't very high. However, the houseboat doesn't work. It turns out Roland thought the boat's engine worked like he did, on pure grass, so he had the engine compartment filled to capacity with grass. Eliza, who knows how or why, was covered in blood, so it can breathe air and leaps forward. Everyone panics, and Mary declares she has an idea for how to quickly swim to the safety of the sinking stilt houses. Jeff explains that the fish are genetically modified snakeheads. Jeff loses 2 of his crew, leaving only his assistant, the hunter. The castaways beg for a ride, but Jeff blackmails them. He will only take them if they help him hunt. In the end, Sam, Eliza, and Dan have no choice but to. But as we've seen, Sam wasn't the only one who wanted to take advantage of the troubled water, which actually looks quite grim. Sam flees the lair while, behind him, a third, much larger Frankfurter kills 2 hunters, including Jeff. Dan, Sam, and Eliza speed off in the fan boat, pursued by the fish. Dan falls off the boat during the chase but scrambles up a mud bank. Realizing they can't outrun the fish, Sam drives the fan boat into a group of stumps and tears off the protective coating on the fan. Unable to slow its momentum, the fish plunges toward the